we're heading out to give Blair the test. He makes it back here and we're not with him. Burn him. Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man as you've not seen him before. In fact, not even in a kilt. He's in a flight suit. Snow goggles, ridiculous big hat, big hair, not quite the mountain man beard, but you know. G1 flight jacket, covered in snow and ice. Oh yes. Where are we from? Outpost 31. It can only mean one thing. The Thing. And listen folks, if you guys have been following me on Facebook, and I know some of you do, then you will know that Kilt-Man was contaminated with an alien virus. It has to be an alien virus because no earthly bug could ever take Kilt-Man down. And oh my God, have I been ill the last couple of days. Bedbound. And what makes it insult to injury, it snowed. It's been snowing. We've had whiteouts, blizzards. I have a husky dog. I wanted nothing more than to go out with my husky and play MacReady and the Thing with my Thing dog out in the snowy blizzards. But I was too crippled to move, so I couldn't do it. Damn it. Anyway, let's see if we can get the Thing dog here right now. Roxy! Roxy! Some treats for you. Roxy! And as usual, the Thing does not act accordingly. It will not be there on call. Damn it. Anyway, let's get rid of that. So, hey Sweden. Cheating bitch. So, yeah, I've not been too well, folks, which is why you've not seen any videos for the last couple of days. But I will now endeavour, now that I'm actually up and about, to try and rectify all that because, you know, I owe my subscribers some content. I owe you guys, of course I do. So, oh look, what would MacReady be without his bottle of J&B? Sadly, mine's empty. Yeah. If you look over here, we have a lovely little MacReady action scenario diorama, as they call them. Oh, marvellous. I have a lot of memorabilia from the Thing, a hell of a lot. There's posters pretty much everywhere in this house from the Thing. I have dozens and dozens of t-shirts with MacReady's face and slogans plastered all over them. And I love it. Love the movie to bits. Dog treats, and she hasn't even come to them. So, the soundtrack. I'm not discussing the film here today. I'm going to discuss the soundtrack because it pretty much sums up how I feel. It's a bleak, nihilistic, very depressing sort of soundtrack, and yet it's iconic and it's become a cult classic. As much as the film is a masterpiece, so is the score from Ennio Morricone. Master John Carpenter usually scores his own films. He got a big budget and a big studio backing from Universal because of the success of his independently made movies, Halloween, Halloween 2, Escape from New York, The Fog, of course. So they gave him some money. Now with this money he thought, well, I only score my films because I'm cheap and I'm on time. So now I can afford to take my time making this movie and I can employ someone who is an absolute genius, a maestro. So he went for the best, and my God, he got the best. Ennio Morricone, who is still going. And you know, the spaghetti westerns, fantastic, the Untouchables. You know, this guy is an absolute genius in every genre. But Ennio Morricone has a distinctive working modus operandi. He doesn't score to the film. He gets the script and he forms his own ideas from that script, and he creates themes and motifs which are then, with the director and the editor, put into the film as best they can do so. And that's how he did it with Sergio Leone, and this is how he did it with John Carpenter. But the most bizarre thing, and it worked out to be a great thing in the end, is that Carpenter thought, I'm going to get one of those symphonic and orchestral magisterial composers to work on my film, and he's going to come up with something really, really special. But Ennio Morricone listened to what John Carpenter had done in his previous films and went minimalist with just a beat, a tone. Now, his score initially, which I have here, here's the original vinyl release. The original vinyl release. Now that's Morricone's recording. You can't get that now. You can't get Morricone's recording. It's been re-released on vinyl, again, in various different, like Mondo released a few versions of it, of course, and you can get it on CD, but they're not the original recordings. They are the remixed, rescored versions by Alan Howarth and John Carpenter. Now, the version I'm going to play for you today, because I have no access to a vinyl fucking turntable, so that just sits there looking proud and useless, a bit like me most of the time. This version, this was a limited edition version as well, 1,500 copies. But what this version does is, Alan Howarth, who worked a lot with John Carpenter on Escape from New York and The Thing and Big Trouble in Little China, Prince of Darkness, what he did with John Carpenter was add the bits where Morricone hadn't scored certain bits or they needed a bit of a stinger taking place. Then Carpenter and Howarth would combine and create their usual stylistic flourishes with synth. Morricone's original score was not on synth, it was orchestral. But the remixed version, which you're going to hear here, is purely synthetic and electronic. It's not a deal breaker. Obviously, I would prefer to be playing Morricone's original sounding score, but I can't do it. I've only got this that's to hand and playable. So what we're going to do, because I feel so wretched and it's snowbound outside and it just fits the bill perfectly, I'm going to play the main theme, Desolation. Now, you all know the theme. It's just a heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. It gets inside you. Like the thing itself, its cell structure, the way it assimilates other living organisms. The score infiltrates you. It gets inside, gets under your skin. And my God, it works its magic. Oh, by the way, if you go thing busting, you need your flamethrower. And I have one. I've been to Comic-Con as McCready, and it's gone down a storm, and I've had dynamite strapped to me as well. I've even had the blood test with the copper wire and the little blood petri dish with fake blood in it and the name Parma on it. And I've had to reenact the sequence. Oh, it's great. It's great. You know, Comic-Con, folks. Catch Kilt-Man at Comic-Con. You know, if you can. If you dare. So, without further ado, let's go for Desolation. In fact, let's play the opening theme. Now, what you're going to hear now, the opening shot of the flying saucer, the alien craft, zooming towards Earth, has a bit of an accident, and obviously crash lands in the ice of Antarctica. So this is Carpenter playing this now. It's just stark, it's just forlorn. I mean, this is about a battle of humanity against insidious alien evil invasion at the arsehole of the world, Antarctica. The film is a masterpiece, a masterpiece. Carpenter was never better. His direction is absolutely whip crack. John, I hope you're not watching this. But you immediately know a John Carpenter film and score. Sizzling, you know, tones. You're already on edge with that. Now we're going to get into that main theme. Poor husky dog. well, it's a Malamute, running across the wastes. There's a wolf dog, actually, Malamute, called Jed. Jed would also appear in other movies, like White Fang. Remember White Fang with Ethan Hawke? Isn't it brilliant? So simple, so stark, so minimal, and yet so effective. Now, even though this is a purely synthesized rendition, it's a very, very close approximation. That tone is right. All that they've added really is a bit of, I don't know if you can hear it on this, there's little twinklings and noodlings, like almost like there's a computer bank sort of warbling away in the background, little spacey sort of noises in the background, which weren't there for Morricone's recording. How will we make it? Maybe we shouldn't. If you're worried about me, if we've got any surprises for each other, I don't think we're in much shape to do anything about it. What do we do? Why don't we just wait here for a while, see what happens? And then you'll see Kate Russell just lean back, a little laugh, and then as he stares at Childs, Keith David. Possibly my favourite ending to a film and a saga that has ever been. Of course, critics and audiences at the time did not like that. You'd had E.T., the friendly alien. Oh, and Spielberg blew the world away with his friendly alien. His humanoid tared with a glowing finger, you know, and a penchant for phoning home. But Carpenter's version of Alien there, of meeting with aliens, didn't go down well at all. Audiences and critics did not like this nasty bastard which would interfere with our bodies, consume us, and then take our identities. But the film, of course, went on to absolute cult, mega iconic masterpiece status, with almost every film critic around the world reappraising the film and putting it in their top 10. And they all panned it originally. I love the film. You all do as well, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this. I wish that dog would come in and just sit there beside me, looking enigmatic and mysterious. It is icy. You get that feeling of it's cold, it's lonely, it's desperate, windswept, and it's a sense of isolation and indeed alienation. You can't trust anybody. I'm gonna stop that there because what the album does as well, it brings in a lot of the themes that Morricone composed for the film, but they didn't make it into the finished movie. There's several tracks on here which really, I love this score, but Morricone definitely put bits in here which did not work, and they were wisely jettisoned from the finished cut of the movie. They don't serve any purpose, they don't fit anything that you see in the film. And the next track after that, which is called Humanity 2, really is it's dire. I love Morricone, but you know, I've got to be honest, certain bits don't work at all. Now, famously, Quentin Tarantino loves The Thing, obviously. I mean, he paid homage to it with The Hateful Eight, with Kurt Russell, in a snowy, windswept, isolated outpost with a bunch of people that you can't trust. People there are not what they say they are. And it was purely a Western version of The Thing, but without aliens. And the score for it was Morricone's unused elements from The Thing soundtrack. Very clever, very clever. And in fact, it fits that film better. But anyway, I'm going to play another bit for you, which I think is wonderful and very eerie and desolate. This will be where they've already encountered the dog. They've shot the two Norwegians who've been pursuing it are dead. One's clumsily blown himself up with a grenade. The other one's been shot by Gary, Donald Moffat, the awesome Donald Moffat. I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch. Brilliant outburst, and brilliantly done, because the camera leaves, stays on him for a second, and he's like, he kind of calms down. Tied to this fucking couch. And then settles back, waiting for them to untie. so brilliantly done. But they realise these guys from the Norwegian camp have obviously done a lot of damage, you know, to themselves before they got to the American camp. So McCready, Kurt Russell, and Dr. Copper, Richard Dysart, fly out there to go and see what's going on. And of course they find the wreckage, a smouldering wreckage, and they find that the guy slumped in the chair, the radio operator, who's miraculously slit both wrists and his own throat. And the blood's frozen, you know, in like little icicles to the floor. Beautiful, beautiful, fantastic makeup effects by the awesome Rob Bottin. Rob Bottin, come back to Hollywood, come back to movies. Sorry, I'm still a bit husky. I'm husky in the absence of the real husky. So this track plays as they enter the camp and wander through its deserted, eerie sort of desolation, smouldering rubble, and find a big block of ice with something carved out of it. So let's get on this. Gotta be honest, Alan Howarth nails this one perfectly. It's icy, isn't it? It actually makes your skin prickle, you know? And the hairs stand up. Get the sense, you know, it's like the scene of a massacre. Something terrible happened here, but the Americans don't yet realise just how bad the situation's got for them, because already that dog that's been wandering around camp all day has already brilliantly walked down the corridor and gone into a room where you see a shadow on the wall turn round to face it. And of course, you're all trying to work out who that is. For my money, it's Palmer. It could only either be Palmer or Norris anyway, but I say it's Palmer. But neither David Clennon, who plays Palmer, and Charles Hallahan, who plays Norris, Carpenter did not use either of them to play that shadow on the wall. It's actually Dick Warlock, the great Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2 and was Kurt Russell's stunt double on Escape from New York. It's actually his shadow. The reason being, Carpenter didn't want you able to recognise anyone. And yet the thing about it, he's still got the sort of curly hair that both Norris and Palmer have got. You know? Russell's character is just outstanding, because he fits the bill of the 80s heroes, in the 40s, 50s and 60s, heroes in movies were noble. They do the right thing because it was the right thing to do. They'd go in and they'd defend people. They would help somebody. Whereas in the 70s, it was still pretty much the same, but these were people who were driven to the edge by the fact that authority was going to let them down. So like Dirty Harry, French Connection, you know, Serpico, a lot of these things were like, they're trying to do the right thing, but they're fighting against an opposition, which is actually their own organisation. So it's always doomed. In the 80s, your hero tended to be a guy who was reluctant, didn't want to fight, but because of circumstances he can't get out of, he's actually got to fight to the end, to do the right thing, out of pure survival mode. So, your McCready, your Rambo, you know, it's John Matrix Commando, you know, it's Sarah Connor. They're forced into it. So I would say dark, but it's white. This score is white, almost blue-white. There's a colour to this music because it depicts the frozen wastes of Antarctica, and you get that. You hadn't seen the film and you played this, you would feel, ooh, it's gone cold in here. It's snowing. And that's what it depicts, and it's fantastically done. And Morricone, who wrote this, got this from the script, not from the visuals. Let's move on. Let's have another bit. This is Carpenter again. Because I just love these tones. And the weird thing is that as cold and as bleak as Carpenter's synth tones are, they're considerably warmer than what Morricone did. Do you get what I mean with that? This is Fuchs, poor old Fuchs. Joel Polis is gonna, again, it's one of those deaths that you can't explain. A shape goes past his doorway when the lights and the power have gone out. He gets his jacket and he goes outside to investigate. He lights a flare, but you don't see what happened to him. When he goes missing, they go out on a search party and they find his burnt remains. Is it Fuchs? And they find his glasses, his burnt, crispened glasses. Or just the frames. Yeah. Why did it burn him? Maybe he burned himself before it could get to him. One of Carpenter's famous stingers there. Of course, it's a film that rewards repeated viewing because you will pick up different things every time you see it. I've been a massive fan of this film since 1982 when it came out. I was reading Starburst magazine. No internet in those days, folks, and I had the preview for it because it was only going into production. I couldn't wait. I loved the original, The Thing from Another World, by Christian Nyby, and of course Howard Hawks. Which, you know what, you could remake that film now, because The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, is not a remake of that 1950s sci-fi classic. It's not. It's an adaptation of the original John W. Campbell novella Who Goes There, and a very, very good adaptation it is too. But the Howard Hawks version it's a Boris Karloff style humanoid vegetable 8 feet tall. It just clubs people, you know. But it's a brilliant film, full of suspense, full of excitement. And that version could be remade and made more horrific, obviously. Bit of a higher body count. Only has 2 deaths, I think, off screen. Listen to this. It's so atmospheric. It's grim. Such beauty to it as well, though. Got a huge poster, original quad poster from the thing, but it's way down the hall. I was going to try and lift it off and put it in here, but no, I don't want to damage it. And especially in my weakened state, I've been not eating for 2 days. 3 days. Been in bed for 2, not eating for 3. So, unlike The Thing, I have lost body mass. One of the greatest villains ever is The Thing. And it's female. It's a female beast because it reproduces. It consumes man. It envelops man. It emasculates man. Putting the hand over the face of Gary, chopping the arms off Dr. Copper in that great sequence. Tentacles as well. It's always in mythology, it's associated with spiders and with female genitalia, for lack of a better phrase. So for my money, The Thing is definitely a female antagonist. I'm going to go on to the end credits again. This is McCready and Child sitting there as the camp smoulders around them. It's worth playing again. This is a slightly longer version of the opening main theme. If you watch the film, watch the bit where they take off to go and visit the Norwegian camp, and you'll see Kurt Russell sitting there, but the real pilot is sitting next to him. But after they take off, he says to Kurt Russell, right, you take control now, and the helicopter just goes, way! You think it's just turning to go in that direction. Russell just didn't have a fucking clue what he was doing. Do please excuse me. Hopefully I'll be back to firing on all cylinders very soon. And please God, wrap up well, folks. There's 1,000,001 bugs going around. Because there's never, there's a bug going around. There's never just one bug going around. There's 1,000,000 of them, There's a bug. There it is. If it was that obvious, you could avoid it, couldn't you? Yeah. And it is the thing, isn't it? Because you could be in a room with other people, you could be on a bus, you could be on a train, someone's infected. You might never know who it was, but they've infected you, and now you've got it. Horrifying, isn't it? I don't know if you can see on this, but I'm covered in snow and ice. And do you know what that is? You know how I did that? And If you see it in real life, it looks far, far better. That is actually talcum powder. Literally sprinkled on like it would be snow landing on you. And then hairsprayed on. So lacquered on, basically. And it looks brilliant. The whole film is a chess game. You're introduced to McCready playing computer chess, and he gets outwitted and he gets beaten, but he's a sore loser. So he pours his precious J&B into it and shorts the machine out. But the whole thing is it's deception. It's making sacrifices. It's countermeasures. It's a big chess game, and of course at the end you have a white guy and a black guy. White and black chess pieces facing each other. Neither can trust the other, and it's stalemate. Isn't it genius? Don't we think Carpenter knew just how much of a genius film he was making at the time? A lot of it was luck. Of course, he looks back on it now with a sort of, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It was his greatest masterpiece, but he got absolutely drawn across hot coals for it. Now, I'm looking at the time on my recording, and it's going to cut out very soon. So, I'm going to leave this. None of us make it. I'm going to leave some kind of record of what happened. Nobody trusts anybody now. We're all very tired. Anyway, folks, I'll be back shortly with more shenanigans. In the meantime, I'm going to see you all later. Hey, Sweden! They're not Swedish, Mac, they're Norwegian.